When I was a kid, I believed that there were two different types of food, Italian food and Italian-American food. But once in a while, we got Chinese food, and it always blew my mind. It's amazing how the cuisines of different cultures can bridge the divides of different cultures. And here to tell us a story about that is Northampton-based psychologist Ling.
So much depends on where you come from. This was in the early 1970s, and I was a young teen, and my family had just come here from Indonesia. We moved from a city of 1 million people to a town so tiny that it only had one barbershop, one general store, one bar. It also only had one post office, where everyone had to go in to pick up their mail. When you enter, a gregarious postmaster greeted you and held court for as long as you give him the time. A few months after we moved here, the postmaster invited my family over for dinner. We were most excited and very, very curious. He and his wife greeted us with open arms and gave us a tour of their house. The room I remember the most is their dining room. It had a long, beautiful wooden table, very comfortable looking high-back chairs, warm colored walls, and a built-in cabinet with their beautiful china. That room looked very inviting. At some point, they took us outside to their backyard, and the postmaster walked straight to a large metallic bowl and poured in some gasoline before he lit a fire. After a while, his wife brought out a tray with round pieces of flat, raw meat that had shiny, square pieces of white paper in between. He invited us to stand around the black bowl while he put the meat in neat rows over the fire. I looked closely at those meats. I saw no seasoning or spices whatsoever. It was not a promising start. She brought out another tray. It had bread, pieces of lettuce, and slices of tomatoes and onions. Those were familiar. There were also a jar with unnaturally yellow colored liquid and another jar with shiny blood. She turned to us and she said, "Please, help yourselves." All 6 of us looked at her as if she was an alien from Mars. Noting our confusion, she quickly gave each of us a plate. More confusion. These plates were made of paper, and they were very flimsy. Why wouldn't they let us use real plates, I thought? You know, like their china. And we are dressed in our Sunday best. Why are we here outside under the heat of the summer sun instead of inside in that beautiful dining room of theirs? I was thinking, like a young teen looking at my parents with accusing eyes, didn't we sacrifice a lot to come here, the land of milk and honey? His wife was showing us what to do. First the bread, then the vegetables, then the round piece of meat, and then top it with blobs of that yellow and bloody sauce. We followed suit and put together our first American sandwich. I looked at my parents' plates. I felt sorry for them. I looked down at my own plate. I felt sorry for all of us. We had no choice. We had to pick up our sandwich, which I did like it was a hot potato. I'll always remember my first bite. Looking back, I know it was a hamburger, 80/20 ground chuck to be precise. Wow, I thought. I slowed down my eating, noticing the crispness and the freshness of the vegetables, marveling at the sweetness and the tartness of the sauces, and just savoring, really savoring, the smokiness and the juiciness of the meat. It was so good, I couldn't believe it. With one bite, that postmaster catapulted me into hamburger heaven. My fate was sealed. I looked at my parents and I thought, damn, they made the right decision, moving to the US. Now, decades later, this immigrant loves nothing more than to invite our American-born friends to our backyard and taking them on a tour to that hamburger heaven that the US postmaster first introduced me to. Thank you.
CISA is so honored to bring you these stories about local food and our culture. If you'd like to learn more about CISA's work and our programs, please go to buylocalfood.org. Thank you.